Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in and checking out the video today. Today we're looking at a Leonard shower valve, model number 7633413. This is in a medical facility, and what had happened is the entire floor had lost hot water. Did a little research, troubleshooting, found out that this shower valve was the issue. What's taking place here is the check stops in the valve have gone bad, and the cold water is pushing through the hot side and basically overtaking the hot water system. So in today's video, we are going to learn how to change these check stops and resolve this issue. Before you begin this project, you want to make sure that the hot and cold water supply is shut off at the isolation valves serving this fixture. If you do not have isolation valves, you need to figure out where to shut the water off. The check stops are located right behind the screwdriver stops you see there. And the screwdriver stops are very easy to turn on and off. Just use a flathead screwdriver. You'll need a 7/8 socket in order to take the check stops out. Again, make sure the water is shut off to the shower at an alternate source. You're not relying on the screwdriver stops, obviously, because we are taking those out right now because the check stops and the screwdriver stops are all in one. Again, you put your 7/8 socket on there. Obviously, turn it to the left. Be very careful when you loosen it up. What I like to do is loosen up so much, then so when I get it fairly loose, I like to go ahead and start using it by hand. That way I can be more careful and not have to worry about dropping any of the parts behind the wall, because as you can see, we barely have room to get our socket in there, let alone your fingers to try to hold on to everything as it is being pulled out. So be very careful so you don't drop anything behind the wall. And as you can see, this is being a little tricky to get out. That happens sometimes. So just continue to take it nice and easy and get it out. As you see here, you'll see that the screwdriver stop stayed in place, but the body came out, which that's okay, don't panic. But this is where it goes back to being careful. I mean, I guess in this situation, it doesn't matter if you drop the spring or the O-ring that's back there behind the wall because you're putting new in, but you definitely do not want to drop the screwdriver stop right there, the part that has the flathead slit in it, because that does not come in the repair kit. So you'll see I'll take my channel locks and I'll be very careful pulling that out right now so I do not drop it. But like I said, if the spring or the O-ring or something falls, that's not a big deal because you got new ones to put in. It's in the repair kit. And obviously when you pull out the stop, that's going to allow air into the system and you'll get some water flowing out of the faucet that you had to open the drain, because as I said, there's still water, and when air gets in there, it's going to drain out. Here is everything that is in the repair kit. Don't forget to use a little plumber's grease. That always helps. I said a second ago that the body of the screwdriver stop itself came out and the screwdriver stop stayed in place. Again, no need to worry. It's very easy to put back in. Take the screwdriver stop, put the flathead side through the back side of the body there, and just twist it or screw it in. You'll feel it start to tighten up, so to speak. Screw it in there pretty good until you think it's in there good enough. And at that point right there, that is when you can take the rest of the repair kit, your check stop itself, put a little grease on it, insert in the back side of the body, obviously with the plunger side sticking out. Put your spring on, and you are ready to go. Now for installing it, again, what I like to do is take a pair of needle nose pliers. I like to grab the screwdriver stop, obviously, grab the check stop and insert it, and it's not going to stay in there too well. So you notice I put it in kind of at an angle where it kind of wedged itself in there. Then I grab my spring and my screwdriver stop, and you want to make sure that the center of your check stop goes obviously through the spring. So you'll see I will take the spring and I will start it kind of in a down with an upward angle, if you will, to make sure that the check stop itself is in the spring where it needs to be. And once you do that, you just push it in by hand, and you start to twist, and eventually the threads will line up, and you go ahead and get it started by hand. Once it's hand tight, obviously grab your socket again, to go ahead and get it started by hand, as tight as I can, I should say. Get it as tight as I can by hand. Then grab my ratchet and come back and snug it up. This does not have to be ball busting tight. Just get it nice and snug where you think it feels nice and tight, and more than likely you are good in that situation right there. Once that is complete, I like to get my screwdriver and run the stops in and out to make sure they move freely. I did replace the hot side prior to making this video, so that's why you did not see me replace it, but rule of thumb is if you're going to replace one, you might as well replace both. I forgot to show you the part where I turned the water back on and tested the stops for leaks, but obviously you need to want to do that. After that's done, go ahead and put the trim kit back on. After, again, ensuring there's no leaks, go ahead and get everything lined back up the way that it should. Get the handle set in place. Get the set screw with the handle on there. Get it locked down. And again, when you're tightening these bolts up and stuff, do not over tighten them. Snug and a quarter or half turn is sufficient for this stuff. You do not want to break it or strip it or anything, but once everything is buttoned up like it is, at that point you're ready to turn the shower valve on, bleed the air out of the system because there will be a little bit of air in there. Make sure you have hot water, make sure you have cold water, make sure there's no temperature differential going from the hot side where it's getting cold again, as if the cold water is still bleeding through the hot side. Once you verify that everything is working like it should, pat yourself on the back, job well done. One way to tell for sure is to go back out to the source where you shut the water off at. If it was bleeding through, the hot valve would be getting cold. That video ended kind of abruptly. I'm still getting used to the editing side of things with this. But what I was trying to say at the end was, if the cold water is bleeding back through the hot side, the hot valve, which obviously is warm because hot water is running through it, will begin to get cold again. And that'll be another indication that the cold water is pushing back through the hot end of the system. But in that case right there, replacing both check stops worked as it normally does. So that problem is resolved. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I'm not the best plumber in the world, but I've been in this business about 30 years. I know a thing or two, and I'd be happy to help you or answer any questions that you may have. Thanks for watching.